Welcome to the Epic Gaming Night Podcast, a podcast about the stories and relationships board games create. I'm your host, Roy Candy, and with me today is Courtney.
Hi.
Kent.
Hello.
Matt.
Hi.
Adam.
What's up?
And Rob.
Hello.
Adam had a little bit of lag there, and I was like, wait.
Is it going to make?
Nah.
Well, we're here with another episode, and today our topic is going to be cooperative games, which I think Adam picked out for us. So can you tell us what cooperative games are, Adam?
Cooperative games are games that make you love your family more.
They are great to play with kids, honestly.
They really are. I think cooperative games are sometimes the best gateway games.
Mm-hmm.
In a way, because you can bring somebody along who might not otherwise be very competitive or might not want to seem. I don't want to use the word stupid, but if sometimes people don't want to play a board game because they're like, oh, that looks really complicated. I don't want to feel like an idiot. I think that is a barrier to entry for a lot of folks. But if you're going to play together, then you can lean on all the knowledge and all the nerdiness that I have in my games. It makes it, I think a lot more accessible for people. And they're some of my favorite games because a lot of times the cooperative ones, have a lot of theme and cool miniatures, and they're just a real good time.
I will say I played board games here and there. I played the Carcassonne and Betrayal at House on the Hills and all of that stuff, but I wouldn't consider the fact that I dove headfirst into board games until after I started playing cooperative games. When I played Shadows of the Camelot, Pandemic, Battlestar Galactica, these games where you could play on a team and work cooperatively together, it just changed my whole opinion of board games. I'm like, board games can do what now?
I share that sentiment because I think it was Shadows over Camelot for me. And I think I played it. It's so funny you should mention that, because I think I played Shadows and Pandemic in the same 1 week span later in college. And it was Shadows over Camelot. I was like,
Rob, I know for you it was Mansions of Madness, right?
Oh, bro. Yeah, that was the first big co-op, and that's what got me into board gaming. I played the Axis and Allies and the Risks, and I even played Risk Legacy, and then it was at the Bat Cave and this comic book shop. Played Mansions of Madness, and we had to stop this creature from escaping, and ever since then I was hooked. I told my buddy Lee about it, and then I think that weekend we went to, I don't know if you guys ever remember the store Hastings. Yeah. Hastings. We went to Hastings, we bought a couple board games, and I've been broke ever since.
But yeah,
I'll do it.
Before we dive too much into our topic, we do have a bunch of news articles. But yeah, the first news, which I should actually switch over to, the first news article we have is one that I added to the list here. This is Ashes Red Rain's Siege of Lord's Wall. So this is another one of the Chimera expansion decks and Phoenix Born expansion decks for the cooperative version of Ashes, which very much matches our theme for today. But one of the things that I think is cool about this is that it adds this idea of having these legions of zombie undead that have been corrupted by the Red Rains, which Red Rains and the whole thing is this, I guess, magic crystal thing that is evil, and the more the bad guys build that up, the more evil they become, and you're Phoenixborn trying to stop that. But I love the cooperative version of this game. It's made me play Ashes a whole lot more.
I just got my new Ashes conversion, the new 1.5 starter deck, so I need to catch up on the other stuff, and I've got to go through all the cards and get rid of the old cards.
I need to build a deck and mess around with it, so sometime when I'm up there traveling up, it would be cool to try it out. I don't know how good I am at the competitive Ashes. You might just crush me, but it'd still be fun to try.
I think the last time I played Ashes competitively was the last time we were on Twitch.
Yeah,
we're playing with
it's been years, bro. It's been years. How about this? The last time I played Ashes competitively, there was no chance Isaac Vega would have left Plaid Hat Games.
Exactly. I do want to say we're trying to do a new thing here tonight where we're trying to stream on YouTube and Twitch and Facebook all at the same time. So like if you're in chat, like make sure to like hit up and let me know where you're actually watching this. Even if it's afterwards, like comment and be like, oh, I'm watching it from here. I see we have a couple people on YouTube and stuff like that. So it'll be cool because I think I can see comments from everywhere, but I'm not sure. Everybody's name that's popping up currently is like has a little YouTube icon beside them. But it'd be cool to see if people are actually coming in from the other places. But yeah, the next one here. Kent, did you put a bunch of these together or?
Yeah, I put most of these in here.
Sweet. I'm going to make Rob talk about the last one, but if you want to talk about this one.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You better help.
So this one is just kind of an interesting development here. So it was announced a little while ago that Asmodee is partnering with Lego to create some board games. And the first one they've said they were going to do, I don't know if they're going to do more than one, but they did say they're going to do one called Monkey Palace. It's I think it sounds like a semi-cooperative game where players are building this tower or this like Lego tower in the center of the board. And it says, the tower is going to be unique every time you play. I don't know if that's just because you get to choose where it goes or how, I don't know what mechanically is going on there, but it's kind of a cool crossover. Lego's super popular. It's got a lot of really big IPs. It's popular with, a lot of people like it. We're big into Lego, and our kids are big into Lego, and we're big into board games. So it's kind of a neat crossover. We're interested in seeing what comes out of this partnership because those are pretty big names. And
yeah, hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's just not.
Yeah, hopefully it's
an
not
IP
just
grab, or something like that.
Market, really junky game, but it could be fun. It could be good.
I remember playing the old like Knizia game and like other Lego games like way back in the day. Like I got a couple copies of it. And this is actually like one of my tales of horror. Like I had
really?
I had several of the Lego games, and they weren't like super cheap or whatever, but you have to build them and put them together. And I had them built, and one of my friends like invited their like 2-year-old over to game day, and I was playing games all day, and like he pulled out the Lego games and like was letting them play with it. And like he kind of like messed all up, and I was kind of frustrated because I'm like, dang, we're trying to play games and like everything's kind of like he's like running around like distracting everybody and like he's like messing up the Lego game. Anyway, afterwards I was upset. I was kind of like, oh well, you messed it up so much, you can just have them. And then he like took them, and I'm like, I didn't really mean that. It's just but it is what it is. But at least my Lego games distracted him, so we could get some of the other games playing for us.
And I don't know if this involves building a whole game. I think this might just be more the game uses Lego pieces for just part of the construction of like building the tower. I don't know if it's really like a full on like you have to build every part of the board and all that.
Got a little dexterity game vibe, maybe.
I think so, maybe.
Oh, that would be cool.
It's not enough information right now, but
yeah.
I'd love to see a picture of it.
It's got potential, I think. But yeah,
I feel like
you never know.
Lego IP has recently had. I mean, if you think about the video games anyway, they tend to be quality video games. Like they're not trash,
True.
The Lego Star Wars, all the Lego movie IPs are pretty good. And then I only tried it a tiny bit, but that Lego implementation of a survival game in Fortnite, which seems like so many stacked ideas. Hear me out though. It's good. It's redundant because the world doesn't need another survival game.
Yeah.
But the implementation is actually like really high quality. So I feel like Lego has a pretty good track record with like putting their products in other spaces.
Yeah, my kids love the Lego Fortnite stuff, so I'm sure my kids would love trying to play a Lego board game as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they would trash it. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I hope that instead of meeples, they use little minifigures. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be great. All right.
Customize your figure to be whatever you want.
I think it's a pretty cool idea. I agree with Adam. The Lego IP, all their games and stuff that we played have been really good. So it should be fun. I just hope they don't make you buy the game and then buy a separate Lego pack to go with it. Like
I don't think so, but it's too early to tell. But yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the expansions would get expensive, man.
Have you tried to buy Lego today?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Legos are expensive.
16-year-old, he still goes kind of like in and out where he'll want to build some stuff, and like he'll like build smaller bits and then or give them to people. He built the flower one and give it to his mom, and which is cute. But man, a vase of flowers like $40. Like
I
Yeah.
was I had to like one of our sons got a K'NEX thing like a K'NEX dinosaur for Christmas, and I was like I had to basically build the whole thing because he couldn't handle it, and the instructions on that thing were atrocious. Like I'm so used to building Lego where it's like it walks you through every little piece where every little piece goes, and K'NEX was just like, okay, this is what it's supposed to look like. Here you go. Like and I was just
That's
like,
fun.
well, where does this piece?
Yeah,
I had to
it's
like try to
K'NEX.
figure out where this piece goes, and I was like, okay, whatever.
What about the Erector set? When's the Erector set board game coming out?
You got to design that one.
Yeah, I think I'm good. Yeah, this next piece of news is like a huge piece of news. I feel like I've known about this forever, but now it's finally the cat is out of the bag. That Comic Hunters is coming
Hey.
out from Arcane Wonders, and it is going to be a Dice Tower Essentials game as well. So it's pretty cool.
That is super cool.
Like I remember
Great.
when I was in the studio and like a guy from Brazil like contacted I think Mike and was like, "Hey, I have this comic book game that I think you guys would really like. I'd like to send it to you." And then he sent it in and like everybody like loved it. And then we had it as part of the Dice Tower library for the longest time and lots of people were trying to get this game from Brazil. And the localization is pretty difficult when you're trying to bring a game with a Marvel license into the States. So so Arcane Wonders had to do a collaboration with Spin Master to be able to bring over the IP to be able to use it to keep the IP on the game the same.
Which is so crazy
And-
to me. How it is like it's okay to do all that in Brazil, but it's not okay to do all that in the US. But I
Right.
remember playing the game. We played at Dice Tower East.
Yeah, we played at
like
Dice Tower, yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. It was really cool. That's the one where you have to collect the different rare comics, right? Of like that'll be like you want the different themes of collecting all the Thors or the Hulks or getting a different plethora of stuff. I thought it was a really cool game. So
Yeah,
I'm
it's really
excited to see
fun.
it.
It's got a lot of cool, like you do like different drafts for the different cards, and
Yeah.
you spin the cards as currency. So like and it has like the different eras of comics, kind of. So it's really neat. It's in the just looking at the comic book covers on the cards, it's just really cool.
Yeah,
like
it's
just seeing all the
Yeah,
art.
for
It's
sure.
all the original art, right?
Yeah,
I think what it is the fact that that when they license out IPs, they license them to like different people in different
areas.
countries.
Yeah.
Like Spin Master has like the American license for board games, and then like a different company would have like the Brazilian, and then a different company would have Europe, and a different company would have the UK because but yeah, so just different people have different like licenses for different places. So
I think it's going to be a big hit once it hits the states here.
Oh yeah.
yeah, I know people have been spending crazy amounts of money to try to get like it imported and stuff. So.
I mean, after we played it at Dice Tower East, I texted Hector and I was like, "Hey man, if this is out of pocket, please let me know. But do you know anyone from Brazil?"
He's like, "Do you think I speak Portuguese? What's going on?"
I mean, I don't
all
know.
my Spanish.
Brazil and
Hey
Colombia
guys.
too far apart.
Funny thing is, the only other language that Last Light is localized into is Brazil. So, so it's like I have the opposite effect. I'm sending my game over there. So it's
What?
funny.
How do you have it already?
Brazil.
It's from Brazil.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Oh yeah, I mean,
It's in
yeah. There's a lot of
Portuguese.
people that have it floating around.
Are there rules in Portuguese?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Good.
for sure.
Good.
Can't learn Portuguese just to teach the game,
Just
actually.
like,
I
screw
did.
you.
I taught you
Oh
the
my
game, Rob.
goodness, man.
I taught it to you. I had the Google
such a
Translate
superstar.
over the phone. Over the
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
like a
it's
steel
fun.
trap. Once he's got it in there,
Yeah.
it's in there.
How much extra did that cost?
It
just-
wasn't
it's
that
just-
bad.
it's
I mean,
basically the
considering how much
same-
it was cheaper than a CMON
It's
Kickstarter.
basically the
you
same
know?
price as paying shipping for a CMON Kickstarter.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. All right.
Also, I think it's become harder and harder to find as it's gotten more and more popular. You probably got it a little while back too.
Yeah, Kent ordered it like right after he played it, I think.
Yeah,
So is this coming straight to retail or is it doing like
It's going straight to retail.
I think it's going straight to
I
retail.
believe. Yeah. I couldn't find exactly when it was supposed to come out, but I assume it's this year sometime. But they said they're going to give it more worldwide distribution in 2025, and I assume USA is going to be maybe 2024 or end of 2024, maybe 2025.
Nice.
Hopefully soon.
All
It's a
right.
super fun
I
theme.
love when you already
Excited.
have a good game and it can go straight to retail.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
For me, recently Kickstarters and stuff have been kind of depressing when you're looking at like the 2025, and then you
Yeah.
know it's really 2026 because you know the company that's in 2025.
Yeah.
Dang. So, like that Kabuto Slam that
Oh,
Adam
Kabuto Sumo?
convinced me to buy because he's a
It's
terrible
fun.
friend. The only reason I backed it is because it was like, oh hey, yeah, we're coming out like this summer. I was like, okay, I can deal with 2020.
Yeah, hopefully
Yeah.
it is.
Hopefully.
Yeah, Rob and I were playing video games, and I was like, I just played that today. It was pretty fun.
Well, All Play is pretty good about delivering their Kickstarters on time, at least
Yeah.
in the past. So you're probably good, Rob.
I actually don't think I've ever had a super late one from them. I've backed a couple. So
Yeah, they're pretty good. Joe, who's one of the main guys that works there at Allplay, he used to work for Panda for years, so he has very like good pulse with like how all the manufacturing and stuff works and the timing and shipping out and all that stuff because that used to be his job. So they're all on top of
Nice.
it over there at Allplay.
He knows when Chinese New Year's is.
Exactly. Every year, same time.
Every year.
Well, you know, you got to follow the lunar calendar, but you know, it's not that
Yeah.
far off.
I love that. I love that whole Chinese New Year. Hey guys, unexpected. We had to shut down our factory again.
It's a
Like,
whole
shut
week.
up. Like, don't launch your campaign in December. Oh, guys, we had we had a delay. All of a sudden, I love when companies do that.
Yeah.
we were surprised.
Right?
Yeah, so the next one here is Altered collectible card game. This game is crazy and it has exploded. I don't know what it's up to currently. Does somebody have like the
I looked earlier today; it was at 2 million.
holy smokes. They do have a pledge level for $5,000
5,000 euros.
for like 40
Even more.
euros.
My
Okay,
gosh.
5,000 euros. But that's for like I guess it's like a store level where you're buying just tons and tons of stuff. The thing about this is like I've seen CCGs on Kickstarter go crazy and they don't look that good. At least this one has gone crazy and it like the art looks really nice and like the publisher seems to know what they're doing, you know. So, and I've watched some like how to play a little bit on this and like watching people talk about how the game actually plays. It seems interesting
Yeah, I put this on here
Yeah,
because
it looks cool.
because how
I've been
popular
getting
it
into
is.
TCGs lately. This one looks just crazy about like all the cards have QR codes,
Yeah.
and you can trade digitally, and then you can have your cards printed, like
yeah.
a
Yeah.
printer, and then it'll ship them to you. And there's unique cards, so like you can have the same like base card, but then it has like different art on it, or like different colors, different powers, different things. So like you can have like a common version of the card, and then a rare version, and a legendary version, or whatever. And it's focused on like not attacking each other, but more like progressing on this track. It's kind of
Yeah.
interesting.
It basically there's two different lanes and you have like your character and then they're like little spirit animals sort of thing and you're trying to make those two things meet. So if you win this lane, it pushes your character forward. If you win this lane, it pushes your other thing forward. But the interesting thing is like you're not really fighting each other. You're just kind of like trying to have the highest number on each side in one of three different suits, basically. And if you have the highest in any one of those three suits on like either side, you get to progress your stuff. And so both of you can actually both progress. So they're trying to like make this more of a friendly collectible or trading card game where like the combat mechanics of it are not really combat, more just like, you know, hey, we're like trying to like do our little spirit animal thing, moving towards the middle here, and when they meet, then you win. But yeah, it's like interesting. And then they have a whole bunch of rules for like I read the rule book that if you like tie, you have to do like a single like action like battle and stuff like that over one like location. It's kind of interesting. It has a little bit of a, you know, win the base vibe, sort of like you would with what's that Marvel game, Marvel Snap sort of thing, but not really.
Yeah.
It's different from that, still at the same time though. It's very different, but still at the same. It'll be interesting to see because it's not the typical. They have 20 life points. You have to knock them down. You know, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the art looks very whimsical. You know.
It's the designer who designed Seasons, the board game, which has
Yeah.
a very CCG feel to it, a little bit.
That's why it looks so familiar to me.
And it's the company that did Dixit, Mysterium, Dice Forge, Seasons. So
Right, so-
Lillibud, French company.
So
Lillibud.
it's not like people who don't know what they're doing, you know? So
Yeah.
I think that's part of the reason why it's been so successful so far. It'll be interesting to see because this doesn't have a strong IP to back it up. It'll be interesting to see if it has legs, you know? Once it comes out for people, is it going to stick around? I guess that depends on how good the gameplay is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks amazing though, as far as art goes.
Yeah, I
gorgeous.
agree. I think it's very well done. and I have zero interest in actually like I'll play it when it comes into the studio just to try it, but I don't have any interest in like actually collecting it or actually getting some of it. I did find it interesting that
got 84 backers for the 5,000 euro.
that's crazy, right?
There's
And-
85 backers on that.
There's
Yeah.
84 backers.
Those have
And
gotta be
that
stores,
pledge
right?
Is not for retail. It's where you get like 6 uncut sheets of just commons and rares.
That's
And
crazy.
You get like signed play mats and stuff like that. It comes with like everything, but it's not like a retail pledge. It's just, hey, here's 5,000 euros, and 84 people have signed that so far, or done that.
A lot of people use CCGs as investments, and they try to get in on the ground floor and save all this product, and then wait 20,
Yeah.
30 years and resell it for crazy amounts of money. I don't know how easy it is to do that, but I think a lot of people are
Are
trying.
they even worth it? 20, 30 years? Like
I
I know
don't know.
Pokemon
That's
is,
the-
and I know Magic
I
are,
mean-
because they're still being played.
People
So it's
keep
like
hoping
still-
that stuff's gonna be
Yeah.
the next, you know. But
Yeah, they're just hoping, but it's a big risk. But
I feel like the only one that's come out that would do that in my mind would be Lorcana, just because of the Disney tie-in. But
Yeah.
who knows?
It would be cool to see another CCG in the market other than Pokemon or Magic. I mean, Lorcana's kind of it right now, so like I don't know. Again, I'm kind of with Roy. I don't think I'm gonna go down that road. I'll just play some red or some ashes or something.
I do find it
Like,
interesting that they have all these starter decks, but every pledge level you only get 2 of them. I'm like, I
Yeah,
would
that
be
was
more
very
interested.
weird.
I'd be interested in a pledge level that's just the starter decks. I don't want booster packs. I want just the starter decks so I can play the game casually. But no,
I
they don't
bet you
have
could
that.
add them. I didn't look, but you probably could add them in the pledge manager. I would
Yeah.
think, but I'm not certain.
Are you not backing this, Kent?
I'm not backing this now.
We spend way too much money on Lorcana. No.
That's
I'm
right.
too- I'm too-
Speak up for yourself, Courtney. That's
Now,
right.
I would play this game, but I wouldn't. I'm not going to invest in it. Not right now, at least.
I'm just going to wait till
much
people
sense.
take pictures of like their OP deck, and then I'm going to put all the QR codes in and just
You got
order all the cards
to
myself.
for real. People, if
Yeah,
you don't
'cause
have your
just-
card
you can
scanned,
just order the meta, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's tough too because like the thing about CCGs is like for them to do what they need to do in the marketplace to have staying power, they require a much greater retail presence than other games do at all.
yeah.
Because the market has to be flooded with people to be competitive and stay competitive in the game. So there's like a way bigger, there's a way narrower margin for error when you're producing one of these things. Like they can die so much quicker than another board game can.
Mhm.
It's like what
'Cause
happened with
nobody wants-
Destiny's. Or not Destiny.
Yeah,
Star
Star
Wars.
Destiny,
Star Wars
yeah.
Destiny.
Star Wars
yeah.
Destiny. Yeah. It's like it was hot for about 18 months and then it just absolutely.
And it's got to have the
You know.
support for those stores and the organized play and all that kind of stuff. I did see they have an app with the app for the QR codes that has like apparently you can go in the app, you can buy your card, you can find events and stuff. I don't know if I think everyone would have to adopt that, but it seems like they're really trying to push for being able to go out and play it. At
That'll be interesting to
You
see.
already out?
No, I mean, but you go look at if you look at the Kickstarter video about how to play and what's going on with it, so the very first Kickstarter video at the very top, I don't understand why they put that as their main video. If you watch that, you're going to be confused, but go down and look at the video that shows how, that talks about what the game is about and how it works. And you can kind of see what the app looks like and all that.
Nope, not going to.
Don't do it, man. Don't do it. Don't spend $6,000 or however much it is. Craziness.
Bro,
Yeah.
no. I'd rather spend $6,000 on what we're about to talk
Rob.
about.
Yeah.
Please
Yeah.
don't
Rob,
spend
those are
$6,000
euros.
on
They're
that
not
either.
even
That's
real
good.
money.
You might
It's not
It's not real money. It's euros.
Now, can I borrow some money from Greece? And then we,
Oh no.
I'll take. But
That's
yeah,
a
no
deep
thanks.
cut for anyone who's been around for a million years.
There you go.
Oh man.
All right, Rob, you're the next one up on this.
So I am super. I don't know how excited I am yet. I mean, yes, are they going to get my money? Yes, I have to whisper this part because my wife is not asleep yet. But a Song of Ice and Fire Tactics. Song of Ice and Fire Tactics is going to be a new skirmish miniatures tabletop, where you are basically playing a faction, whether they have starting ones of the Baratheons versus the Targaryens. And I think the starting box is actually the Battle of the Tridents. So you'll have
Yep.
Robert Baratheon versus, I can't remember his name, starts with a V or something like that. Crap, it's gonna bug me that I can't remember his name now. But not Viserys. Anyway,
Varys?
you're gonna have these two
Varys
teams.
Targaryen?
Varys. What'd you
Varys
say?
Targaryen.
No,
Varys-
Varys is the
Oh, the other guy.
the whisperer guy.
No,
What's his
it's
name?
Yeah.
Rhaegar Targaryen.
Rhaegar Targaryen. That's right. Yeah, it is
There we
Rhaegar.
go.
It's Rhaegar. Okay. And so what you're doing in this game is you have a small team of guys, from what I understand. You have a small team of guys, and you accumulate points and/or money throughout the game. And there's a side table of people. For example, in one of the videos I was watching about this, like you could buy Robert Baratheon. He costs 2 points or 2 coins
gold.
to be able to use
2
him.
gold.
2 gold. And in a certain scenario, I don't think he stays out the whole time, but like you can pay the 2 gold. He comes in, he does his thing, he wrecks shop, and then he leaves. And so
Well,
your group of guys can grow or can shrink. But some of those guys on the gold, some of them, once you buy them, they can only be used once. Other guys, when they die, you can replenish them. And so this is more of like that one-on-one where you're not necessarily amassing big armies of just like pikemen or long swordsmen or bows. You're doing characters. So these are like the characters of the House Baratheon, characters of the House Targaryen. And then you're going and you're fighting these special, not special, but when you watch like the show, you're not watching like the little guys fight off to the side. This is like when you're watching, Jon Snow fight off against a certain guy. So it's going to be very specific scenarios and battles. I'm really excited for this for a couple of different reasons. One, I already have a lot of this stuff. In fact, I've
for
sold
sure.
several armies.
And they
I
have
still
announced
have
that a lot of the stuff they're going to be getting cards that are going to be bringing all of that stuff into this game.
Yes. So
And back and
I'm
forth,
excited
both directions.
For that. I'm excited for the armies that I have kept. Even though I just sold, well, not just, like 6 months ago, I sold my Targaryen army, which I had like a lot of the Targaryen stuff, but I don't have anybody to play with me here. But I still have a couple of armies. But if you guys go to their pledge level, which we talked about this a little bit before the show, and I know I'm all over the place, so I apologize. I think this is CMON's first ever, or CMON's first ever game found. So this is a big deal. Up until now, they've been Kickstarter exclusive. Everything has always been Kickstarter.
They had a reprint. They had a
Deceased?
reprint of
Or no?
Masters of the Universe, but this
right.
is their first launch of a brand new game on the GameFound platform. I
And
think-
that Masters of the Universe was primarily for European and different language backers. And it even said that on that Masters of the Universe. They did that primarily for Europe and Asia. Like you could only get one pledge level in English on that reprint of the Masters of the Universe. All the other different levels were all for the European backers. So this, like Roy said, this is like the first initial launch of a new game, not like a second wave or anything like that. But if you go to the page, and this is supposed to launch on Thursday, if you go to the page, there are a couple different levels. There's the Pledge Without Banners, which is actually not that bad. You get the game for $60. Nice, completed game. That's actually a pretty cheap.
Yeah, but scroll down,
Not
baby.
Kickstarter, but that's a pretty cheap campaign. And then they have.
Rob,
the
you're
next
not buying that crap. You're not buying that crap. It's down at the bottom. I'm not even listening to you talk me through it. Get
that
those
dragon,
cards.
man. That
It's
dragon
the
looks
same thing, but it comes with
ridiculous.
circles. Then they have one Dracarys, and it's literally like a huge Drogon. And here's what blows my mind is if those are the same miniatures to scale as a Song of Ice and Fire,
I think it's gigantic.
miniatures, which they are. That's a huge dragon. That's a
Is it
huge
gonna
dragon.
put your Joan of Arc dragon to shame?
He's definitely taller. He's probably the same size, but that's what the Joan of Arc dragon would look like if its wings went up in the air. Joan of Arc dragon's wings go out. This one goes up in the air. So it's huge. And to get all of that, right, for under $500,
Plus
because
shipping.
this was on Kickstarter. If this was an old Come On game, right? Like this pledge level of Dracarys is cheaper than the last 3 zombie sides I backed from
Wow.
Come On. That's what's so crazy. I'm very excited. Now it also makes sense because it is a new thing, right? So they're not going to go full crazy with it. It is a new thing. A Song of Ice and Fire. The IP is big. A lot of people like the IP, but the show, the hype for that has kind of died down.
Oh,
some.
for sure.
So I don't know if they're not doing it as crazy because of that, but I almost want to get that because I was just saying in the chat, I'm getting ready to start a new D&D campaign.
Yeah, that'd be such a cool set piece
I'm
for
like,
one of
oh my
those things.
gosh. Like by the time
You guys are fighting a dragon.
bro, we gotta fight
Oh,
this
yeah, you are.
dragon. because I already have a couple of dragons. But now I can have like this dragon, and it has spots where like, because I use a lot of my Song of Ice and Fire miniatures for my people's characters, that are already painted and things like that. And so I think that would be so much fun. And I can put it right next to my Galacticus that I got from Matt, which already takes way too much shelf space.
I
Like,
painted
oh my
one of those.
gosh,
It took forever.
it's so ridiculously tall, and I think this might actually be taller than that because of the way its wings and everything are. So, Sammy, I know you're in chat. You'll probably die fighting this thing, because last time they fought a dragon in our first campaign, I had them get eaten, and then we put their bodies in the clouds that I made. It was so much fun. But anyway, this looks really cool. It launches on Thursday. I'm gonna back it. I'm pretty excited to see what they say. But I'm also excited for the future scenarios to come out, and they talked about it coming out with a user-friendly app as well. So
Yeah.
you'll be able to, and they already have
Build
a pretty
armies
good
and
app
stuff.
for the Song of Ice and Fire's war game. And so, and what's also nice is everything you need is in the box. So
Mhm.
it already comes with like the different scenarios. So the maps aren't very big. The maps are pretty, not small, but they're not big compared to what we're used to. So the maps aren't very big, but the game just looks like fun. I like the idea of the small skirmishes, and I don't know.
So I've read through the rules on this, and we're gonna be playing it on the Dice Tower on Friday. But it really gives a vibe to me of like old Battlelore Second Edition. You know, Battlelore you could build like point by your army beforehand, and then you would do stuff, and it was all about trying to get the correct number of victory points to be able to win the game. This
I
game
love that
is
you
like
just said
based
that.
on a certain number of rounds. Once you've done that number of rounds, whoever has the most points at the end wins. But your different leaders that you choose, it's kind of got an interesting system where you have gold, silver, and copper that you can buy units with, and you spend that to put them out. So that's kind of interesting. But also, you have to have gold and silver and copper to be able to trigger special abilities on your units. So you want to kind of save some of that so you can trigger those special abilities to make your units have extra powers during the game. But you're also trying to get out and sit your characters on objectives so they can gain points each round, which is very Battlelore. So there's so many skirmish miniatures games that does this sort of thing, sitting on objectives. But there's also other abilities that you can do while you sit on those objectives. So once you get to that objective, you can trigger certain powers. That's kind of cool. There's also hidden secret objectives where it's like, oh, you have to make sure you don't have any of your characters die at the end of the game, then you get extra points. Oh, you have this or that, and you get extra points. Also, each of your leaders, the leader that you pick, is going to have another way you can score points. So you're trying to figure out all these different ways to score points the best you can while attacking and wrecking your opponent's army. It seems pretty cool. I'm pretty excited to see how it goes.
Roy, at your house where you set up like, was it like 2 boards or 4 boards wide of like, and we did a crazy custom Battlelore game.
Yeah, I've done those like epic Battlelore games before. I did that at the Dice Tower Retreat twice. I remember I did a 3-player game of Battlelore once where I had all 3 of the armies going against each other. So honestly, tactical skirmish games, like if this game plays decently fast, like it's going to be right up my alley. It's really cool that, and Simon's miniatures are just always so stunning. So yeah, I'm excited to see how far this goes.
Friday, you're playing on Friday, right? When you guys do your video?
Yes.
Are you doing
Everything
it
I
live?
have is prototype though, so
Are you doing it live?
yes.
Can you give us like a double wink or 2 thumbs up or something? Let us know if it's like Battlelore. Like I know you can't, but like for all the EGN people that will watch the Dice Tower.
I mean, it's a different game overall. It has very different stuff. I mean, this is a D10 system where you're trying to roll certain stuff, but it's not the exact same as Battlelore at all already.
If you did
But
something like that on the show, I'd totally get what you meant.
you mean if it's as good as Battlelore? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, just something. Just I don't know. I want to watch the show and I want to see you like start to have like a small seizure with your face.
Yeah, I was gonna say they probably call
Is
the
it
Angel
secret?
doing this.
Yeah. Tom will be like, "What are you doing?" You're like, "Nothing. Don't worry about it."
It's just for Rob.
There you go. But yeah, good times. But yeah, I'm excited to see how far this goes and see, you know.
I love that you said Battlelore because I didn't even think about that because I haven't played Battlelore since I played with you. But I remember loving Battlelore, and it's something I've always kept on like my Amazon shop list of like, man, one day I'll just buy some of the old stuff and bring it back.
The old stuff
And
is
so
so
that's-
expensive now. You can't get it.
Is
Yeah, I
it
know.
Fantasy Flight or is
Yeah.
it Days of Wonder?
That was Fantasy Flight.
That was Fantasy
Fantasy
Flight.
Flight.
Well, the second one was Fantasy Flight. Battler Second Edition is Fantasy Flight.
Yeah, I thought it was a Days of Wonder game at one point. I don't remember. I never played it, but
The original
There's a lot of fun.
memoir stuff, and I think the original Bad Lore was Days of Wonder, but Fantasy Flight took it over, and they actually made a Bad Lore Westeros game. I never played that one, but the Bad Lore second
did.
edition was really cool.
I did. I had all of that stuff. Me and my buddy Lee, we had all of that stuff. It's a lot
it's
of fun, but
that
was
kind of
more like
vibe,
a
right?
Command of Colors type of style.
Yeah, so this doesn't have lanes or anything like that, and you can have your units run all over the board however you want, But I'm excited to see how this goes. It's got a bunch of different interesting skill checks as well. Like you can open doors and like flip over tables and do different stuff like that. So, and you have a ton of items to upgrade your characters with. So that's kind of cool too.
Awesome.
But yeah, awesome.
So you guys can buy the 5,000 euro stuff, and I'm just going to buy this one.
I guess we'll go through what we've been playing because we've been talking for a minute. Adam.
Oh man, what have I been playing? Oh, yeah, the game that I talked Rob into backing. So after we talked about it last show, when the standalone expansion got announced on Kickstarter, I was like, oh man, I'm gonna break out some Kabuto Sumo, and I have played it a bit since then. Broke it out, played it here at the kids, played it with some coworkers at the university, and we had a really good time. Again, I do think. If you go to buy this, it's definitely available in retail. It's a really good price for what you get. It's nice components, really nice build. But this is unfortunately one of those games where I do think the expansion does make the game in its current state. For what it's worth, the new version of this game that's coming out standalone looks like it's kind of incorporating some of that mayhem, if you will. And that is the name of the first expansion. I think is the mayhem expansion. But it is a game where you push discs. We talked about it a little bit previously, and you're simulating a wrestling match, and you can play 1v1, 3-way, or you can play with teams of 2, kind of do a tag team match, and you do cool things like have a ladder match, and you can spend some of your resources that you knock off the edge to buy a ladder, and then have a big long ladder to push across the board, and then there's one where you essentially drop thumbtacks on top of it, and if you accidentally knock the thumbtacks off, they stick to your character, and if you ever get 4 stuck to you, you're out. It's just silly. It's a good time, and I think the cool thing about it is the game plays in 5 to 12 minutes, 5 to 15 minutes maybe, and you can sit at the table with people. We played it at lunch at work, and you can just play like 3 or 4 rounds of it, and everyone's just kind of going nuts because you can just take a big risk, and if you take a big risk and you lose and end up getting pushed off the board, then oh well, we'll just set it right back up and play again. It's just a real fun time, and I enjoy it.
Nice ladder match.
Yeah,
I don't see when I look at that picture, that does not say any of that stuff to me. Like you make it sound like so amazing, and I don't see it. I think that's another reason why I backed it. I want to see if you're a liar or not. Not that you're a liar. But like, I mean, it is. You describe, I'm like, that looks amazing. That sounds amazing. And then when I look at this, it's bugs, and you got a table.
It's more tactical because you're pushing them. You're pushing them. It's not like you're throwing them or something. So it doesn't the dexterity part of it doesn't have it's not flip ships or something. You're sending them flying. Yeah. But you definitely have these moments where you're like, you shove it on there, and the speed that you shove it on down that little ramp will kind of change, and you're trying to just get it across the edge enough, and it does have a lot of those kind of card stacking moments, I guess, in it. It's just a different mechanic that you're doing.
I'm excited.
Love it. Well, let's get into Matt's game.
I haven't really played any games, but I continue.
This doesn't appear to have dragons.
Digitally. No, my copy hasn't come in yet because Jamie Stegmaier doesn't love me as much as the Parkers.
I mean, you're probably right, but
no, I'm 100% correct on that. He probably has far more of a chance of knowing them than me. But I've just been playing Wingspan digitally. I haven't played any physical board games in a bit, so yeah, man, just keep.
Which device do you play it on? Steam or?
Yeah, I'll do it on Steam or my Steam Deck. Sometimes I'll play it on my phone, but it can really suck your battery away. So most of the time I'll just play it on my Steam Deck, especially if I'm playing another non-Steam game on my computer and I just need something else to do. I'll just let the ADHD kick in and have 2-3 screens going and just run 2 games and watch it stream.
There you go.
That sounds like what Kent does.
all the time.
It's really bad. I've noticed that it's like if I'm sitting here and I'm like playing a PC game, I'm like, wow, it doesn't really feel like I'm playing a game unless I've got something to watch on my other monitor.
Exactly.
But then it's like I feel like that prevents me from playing like single player games though, because I'm like, oh, I need to listen to the story, and I'm like, yeah, but I need to watch something. But that's not board game related at all. It's just
that's just a into the mind of Matt.
I saw the
Shades of the Mind
came out on the app recently. Have you tried that one out?
I did. It's a lot of fun. I haven't actually played either the Asia or the Oceania expansion. So it was interesting. It took me a minute to kind of adapt to the changes that they'd added in it, but it's pretty good. I felt like my win rate went up. So that's always great. But yeah, I mean, it's just a good time. The nectar is really neat and enables me to do a lot more stuff that my brain normally wants to do but can't do because of turn limitations. So
yeah,
it's a good time.
Awesome. Wingspan.
Great app.
And the next game here is the Fuzzies.
Yeah.
The Fuzzies. So Matt recommended the Fuzzies because he played with somebody else's kid, and he was like, "This is a lot of fun. It was really good to distract them." The Fuzzies does not work with these. For those that aren't watching, just imagine 5 bananas right beside each other with a big, thing holding it together. My daughter did really great. She loved it. She was like, "Dad, let's play the Fuzzies again." Fuzzies is a game where you can either use your fingers or you can use some tweezers that the game comes with, and you have to pull a fuzzy from any part of the tower as long as you can put it higher than what it was. So you can't take something from the top level, basically, but anywhere else. And then if you take it from the bottom, you can stick the fuzzy in the middle, or you can stick it on the top. If you drop fuzzies while you do it, they have these cards that you have to draw as penalty cards. Some of them are saying you can only use like your middle finger and your ring finger, or some of them are saying you have to do the elephant arm, where you have to do your arm like this, and then one of them was like you have to cover an eye and do all this kind of stuff. So it was pretty fun. It was very silly. It was a fun, cute little game. We played probably like 19 times because Dad just kept knocking it over. Again, Dad has 5 bananas for fingers. And so it was a lot of fun. It'll probably stay in the family for a while. The only bad thing, though, is as we were playing, my eldest daughter, my wife, was like, "Don't we all have this other game with this? They have like those spikes and stuff on them." I was like, "We're not playing that right now." But I don't want to hurt my fingers.
That's not the Fuzzies.
So, played the Fuzzies, and it was cute. It was a lot of fun. It's not my favorite dexterity game. I definitely like Rhino Hero better and Go Cuckoo and others, but it's cute. What I like about this, though, is it is family friendly in the fact that they are just fuzzies, and you don't even have to play with the cards. Like half the games we played, we didn't even play with the cards until my daughter saw me do the elephant thing. She didn't care about the cards. Then she was like, "Oh, Dad, you got to do the penalty because you dropped the fuzzy," because she was like the elephant.
Really keeping track.
That's hilarious.
And so it's a cute, fun, light family game, and it's also good for young ages. Only bad side about young ages is if you got a little kid that puts stuff in the mouth, the fuzzies they're not very big. They're like a little bit bigger than a grape. So, you might poop out some fuzzies, but it'll be soft and fuzzy going down. So anyway, that was the fuzzies.
Are you surprised at all how well they stick together?
I didn't like that because again,
yeah.
And so like there were times where I was trying to pull stuff out and they were like really in there, and I'm like, "Bro, come out of this thing." And so I found myself using the tweezers more, and then I was sort of cheating. Not that I was cheating, but like I'd pull them out and I'd want to do something obscure, so I'd rub the fuzzies in my hair to get some static electric shock, and then I'd like stick it onto the side.
Very
and then my daughter starts doing that too, and she's like, "Oh yeah," and so then my eldest daughter and my wife come walking in, and they just see us just rubbing these like little fuzzy balls in our hair. Like, "What are you doing?" We're like, "We're playing a game." And that's when she was like, "Oh, that looks like, the Spike, Dastardly Spike." So Fuzzies, fun, cute family game. You can play, I think, as many people as you want, but I recommend like anywhere from 2 to 4, but cute little game. Nice. And then the next game we played, haven't played this game in forever, but my daughter saw it and she was like, "Ooh, Dad, can we build some castles and shoot some stuff?" We played what was it?
Catapult Feud.
Catapult Kingdom.
Feud.
Catapult Feud. I'm on it. Catapult Feud. So, Catapult Feud is, now we did not play this the conventional way. We did not play this with the cards. You set up your kingdom, and you have to like draw cards, and it can help you set up certain stuff or set up certain guys. And so there's a way to play it, and then there's the Robert Newman way to play. And then the Robert Newman way to play, we just set up our towers the best way that you could, and then we started chunking balls at each other. And then one of the things that I did is, man, if you lean that catapult up, so if you push the catapult like up in the air and then lean it back and fire, it like beams, bro. We were chunking catapults at each other. Because at first it's like, you know, it's the traditional catapult, boom, boom, and then land. Like, you got to barely flick it, you know, because if you go too hard back, it's going to go up to the ceiling. But if you lean that bad boy forward, because we also play Mario Party a lot. I don't know if you guys play Mario Party, but there's a small game on Mario Party where your guys have to jump and you add the numbers together and it shoots a cannon to knock over the castles. That's what my daughter thought this game would be like. She was like, "Oh man, you know the game Mario Party where we have to destroy the castles with the guns? This could be that." And so that's why we started playing. And man, once we got that lean and we were knocking castles all over the place. Y'all have been to my back part of my house. We had pieces all over the house. It was so much fun. And I love playing with the kids. I love when they're like, "Hey Dad, can we play a game?" And so it was a good time. It was a cute game. And then I was like, crap, I got another game just like this coming out here soon. But it comes with like ballistas and stuff. And so it's not like a bad thing, but they are pretty similar. So we'll see what all they do. I know like the other one will have goblins and stuff, but Catapult Feuds, it's a fun, family-friendly game. There are levels of depth to it. So if you wanted to play with like maybe an older kid who wanted more strategy, you can use the cards. Or if you're just having a bad day and you don't want to get in trouble taking it out on somebody, just ask them to play Catapult Feud and then lean that catapult forward and just let it rip.
If only this game had rubber band guns. Too soon? Too soon? Too soon?
You think we'll ever get that?
No, I know we'll never get that.
Any day
now it's coming.
Hey, I think we remember enough of it. We could probably just make it ourselves.
I do want to try to think of a way though to incorporate this into our D&D campaign of like a little side game or something like that. Like maybe when you go to an inn or something, and maybe like there's just like a little castle thing, and can you beat this guy and you get so much gold type of a thing. So we'll see.
That'd be kind of fun.
So
well, you guys said it last week. So anyway, sorry.
So I played a CMON game, a gigantic new CMON game. This is War for Arrakis. Dune War for Arrakis. Cool. Holy smokes. So this is made by several of the same designers of War of the Ring, and it shares some DNA with War of the Ring. And this is a gigantic, you could probably, if you knew this game really well, you could probably play it in like 2 hours, something like that. But this is a gigantic sprawling game of the Harkonnen versus the Atreides. It basically starts right when the first movie ends. And like this is just in time for that second movie to come out like the beginning of next month, you know. But it's all the Harkonnens trying to mess up and take out all the Fremen and Atreides people that are all over the place. And then the Fremen are riding sandworms and trying to destroy sand crawlers and all that stuff. This game is extremely asymmetrical. It has action dice, just like War of the Ring, where at the beginning of each round you're going to be rolling your dice, and that's going to basically show you what actions you can do. And the faces on the dice are the same for both sides, but you're going to be doing similar things, like you can deploy more troops into your sieges or into your strongholds if you're the Harkonnen. And but the Harkonnen win the game by destroying the Atreides sieges. So they're trying to get out there and fight those off. All the Atreides like units are like secret, so the Harkonnen player doesn't know how many people are in these sieges. So they go to attack the siege, then all the people pop up and they have to fight those people off. So you don't know exactly how many troops you need to bring with you to kind of take that over. But the Atreides/Fremen player is all trying to do all these secret missions to kind of rally all the people of Dune to it's called the precedence track. And there's 3 different like resource types, not resource types, but like types you're trying to like build up on there. But you at the beginning of the game, you draw a card that shows you the number you need for each of those 3. And your opponent, the Harkonnens, don't know how much you need of each of them. So they don't exactly know when you're going to win the game or which things you're exactly going for. There's 3 face-up missions, and as you complete those missions, you're going to get more of those different stats for the prescience track. And then also there are like research stations that you can take over as the Atreides player, and that will give you prescience and things like that. And there's a bunch of different ways to try to like gain up on that track. The Harkonnen player doesn't know exactly what numbers you're shooting for, but they know they should probably try to slow you down those quests, or they should just crush you everywhere they can. At the same time, the Harkonnen have to worry about spice production. They have to put out all these harvesters all over the board, because if they don't fulfill their spice contracts, all the other like guilds of the Imperium or whatever start putting bans on them, and you can no longer have as many units in your army, or you can no longer like be able to add cards to combat. So if you're not producing spice the way you're supposed to, you start having detriments to your combat game and the things that you actually want to be doing. So it's this balance of like going all out attacking and then also making sure you're collecting spice. But the whole time the Atreides are like, you know what? I'm going to send worms to go over there and kill all your spice things. It's wild, man. I love this game. Like, love this game. Like, War of the Ring is my second favorite game currently of all time. And this is, I love Dune as well. I love that IP, and this gives me a lot of those vibes. And I think it's quicker to play. It's a lot quicker to play than War of the Ring, but still gives me a lot of depth of decisions that War of the Ring does. I enjoy this game a lot. And it's CMON, and this is, honestly, for me, I think this is honestly, I think this is my favorite CMON game, which is saying a lot because Blood Rage exists, you know? But, like, this is my kind of game. Like, I like Blood Rage. I played Blood Rage to death. I mean, if more stuff came out for Blood Rage, it would be higher for me. I just played it so much that, like, I played Blood Rage. But yeah, this for me right now is, like, the thing. You know, I really love this game.
How heavy would you say this is? Like, on a scale of, like, 1 to 5, like on BGG?
It's around I don't know what War of the Ring is, but it's around War of the Ring. So getting through the rule book and learning all the rules and doing all that stuff is a task. You know, but if you have someone to teach you, I don't think it's that hard to teach. So if someone knows how to, like, I could teach somebody how to play and we would be up and playing the game pretty quickly. But if you're learning from the rule book and learning from how to play online, me and Stephen Bonacore played this, and we basically played like all day. But we played both sides. We played the game twice. So, and I've never played the War of the Ring twice. I've never played War of the Ring and immediately been like, all right, let's do the other side. With Dune, we played it fast enough to where we're like, you know what? Let's switch, you know? And that was a lot of fun. So being able to play on both sides, you know.
Man. Yeah, because all of my stuff just came in. Because I went all in on the Kickstarter on this one. I even got the playmat came in. And it looks gorgeous. And the box is huge.
Yeah, and the box art is like one of the best box arts I've seen for like almost any game. It's like, it says Dune both directions. It has War of Arrakis both directions. You flip it over and it like looks the same either way. Like, I don't know if I can like actually rotate it on here. I think I can rotate if I do like this. If you flip it over, it basically still says Dune and then has everything. It just looks so cool, you know?
Yeah.
Like, listen, we're in January. I'm not going to talk about game of the year for me, but good luck, publishers.
It's
good
February.
Ready for me to blow your
Easy
mind?
top 5.
We're
It's
in
February, right? We're in February.
Yeah.
But
What
like,
happened this week?
Good luck, publishers, because this is going to be pretty high
It
for
says
me.
Dune again.
I know. It's Dune on both ways. It's such a cool cover.
It does look so good. Like, I'm excited to play and get it to the board as soon as possible.
And I haven't played with the expansion stuff, but I looked and read through the expansion stuff, and now that I've played the game on both sides, I'm like, I feel like I could pretty easily add these expansions in, you know, be able to throw them in there and like
The smugglers and stuff.
The smugglers and the other things like that. It does add a teeny bit of stuff to the game, but I think
Are the worms in the base game or are they in the expansion?
The worms are definitely in the base game. The worm, it's so crazy because the Atreides get to use the worms so much, and it's so cool because like you're playing Dune. Like in the books, it's like they have like one battle where they use the worms. In this game, they're using the worms all the time, and it's so cool. And then once Paul turns into Muad'Dib, he's now controlling the worms and all this stuff. It's so thematic. Like how War of the Ring is Lord of the Rings in a box. Like this is Dune in a box. You know, I feel like this feels more like Dune than the original Doom game was pretty Dune-ish, but it definitely feels more Dune than Dune Imperium, you know? So yeah, I really enjoy it, and I need to play it more, but I don't know, man. I like it. I'm raving a bit about it because I spent all Sunday playing it, but I definitely had a lot of fun. Definitely had a lot of fun.
Also got to play with Stephen Bonacore, who also loves...
I mean, and I still liked it. That's the crazy thing. You know, I played with Stephen and still enjoyed the game. You know, that's saying something. That's high praise.
But he would be the perfect person to play with if it's a comparison to War of the Ring, because that's like his favorite game.
I have...
So this... Man.
Chad is asking me if I've played the War of the Ring expansions. I have played the Leaders expansion. I've played the Warriors of Middle-earth expansion. There's a new Kings of Middle-earth expansion. It's not out yet that I know of. I don't think it's actually available. If it is, I need to figure out a way to get that. But yeah, I don't think the Kings one is actually out yet. But me and Rob played with a ton of those War of the Ring expansions. It's a lot. Holy smokes,
it is a lot.
Yeah.
But it's so much fun though. But you got to be a fan of stuff. But it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, but
that's what has me excited about this.
This gives me that vibe.
This is up there.
Yeah, this gives me that vibe. But I think this is going to be easier to get to the table than War of the Ring is. You know,
like I immediately thought of my dad. Like I'd want to go play with my dad, like a weekend where like the girls are out doing something. I'll just drive to Raleigh and then go play this game. And because you saw like the board is huge. Like,
it is gigantic.
How big this board is. It is a huge board. I love table presence, and this has got a gorgeous and huge table presence. So the playmat is ridiculous. The playmat is
a little bit bigger than Greensboro to play it with you.
Yeah, I'll play it with you.
And the sandworm, like the giant sandworm
I'll
in
read
this
the rules
is
and teach you.
So big. It is
I'd meet
crazy.
you in Raleigh, like at Atomic Empire or one of those other stores. I'd meet you. We can like stream it on one of our stuff. Only if I win though.
There you go. There you go. But yeah, that is Dune War for Arrakis. Like, if you're interested in big, like, strategic head-to-head combat asymmetrical games, this one's up there for sure.
Sounds like it's right up Kent's alley.
Well, we can talk about a game that probably is up Kent's alley. What was your game, Kent?
So we got in Wormspan and got to play it a few times. And so this is the spin-off of
Connie Vogelman.
Wingspan, but it's by the designer of Apiary, Connie Vogelman, and it's got development from Elizabeth Hargrave. And essentially, if you've played Wingspan, you kind of have an idea of how this game works. You're trying to get the most points essentially by bringing dragons into your little cave system. So you've got 3 areas of caves, like there's a pink, a yellow, and a purple. That's kind of like the 3 areas in the Wingspan game. Mm-hmm. But the different thing about this game is that Wingspan is based off of using action cubes, and then as the rounds progress, you're losing actions. So you're like getting rid of your action cubes. So as the game goes on, you're getting less and less actions. So like it's more about managing your actions, especially towards the end of the game. This game it changes up that whole system and uses these like coins that are essentially action tokens, and you get the same amount every round. So no matter what, you're going to be getting a full amount of actions, and there's ways to gain extra actions. So it makes it so you can do a lot of stuff. And normally, like in regular game Wingspan, you have to play birds left to right in the on your board. This game, you're playing dragons, but they have to have caves to enter before they can go into those. You kind of have to excavate the cave system. So you're getting these cave cards to put onto your board, which give you special powers. Every time you play a cave card, it gives you benefits. So you're doing a lot more. You're getting a lot more bonuses, and I think you're better able to combo stuff. It's also, I think, more flexible in the resources, because you pretty much, when you gain a lot of the resources on your board, you're going to be getting wild resources, which feels a lot like the nectar from the Oceania expansion of Wingspan. Mm-hmm. But I think because of that, it's going to lead to a lot more. It can lead to a lot more AP, a lot more, taking long on turns, just because I think there's just more to think about. There's more options, and you're more flexible typically. Mm. There's just more stuff going on. I think it's a little bit heavier than Wingspan. I wouldn't say it's like a heavy game by any means, but it definitely has more going on. But I think it has a lot more, there's a lot more of the times when you can do something and be like, oh, that was super cool. I did this combo. There's a lot of combo potential in it.
I love the engine building in this. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, and I think it gives you more of a stronger sense of engine building. One of the other actions, well, it's a little bit different in Wingspan, is that you can explore, which is taking your little meeple, moving it across your board, kind of like you would when you were activating your normal actions in Wingspan. Except this one, you're kind of creating a path for it, and you get more actions to use you get actions on the main board, like versus just activating all your birds. There's always actions printed on the board. But by doing that, it took away the action of laying eggs, and it took away the action of drawing cards, and it took away the action of doing that kind of stuff and just gaining food. So you have to have dragons on your board and have to have ways to move your explorer across those cards to get the eggs and get the food and get the stuff you need. So it's a different feel, but it's a very interesting twist.
How did you feel about the Dragon Guild Rondel thing? That's a new thing, right? That's very different as well, right?
Yeah, there's a guild board where anytime you gain this little dragon symbol, you move around a circle on the board, you gain benefits around it. And then in the center of that circle, there is a random board you put out there that has special power. So when you reach the top of the board, like it'd be like at 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock on a clock.
Yeah.
You get to place one of your markers and get a special ability or get extra points. So it gives you, that's another combo thing. You can kind of feel like lets you do some very powerful actions, gets a lot of extra resources, potentially even gain you extra actions. So it's a lot. It's really, like I said, this game just gives you a lot of cool things to do, and it lets you do a lot of combos, and just it's just very satisfying, I'd say. If you like Wingspan and you want more, I would say this is definitely worth checking out. I wouldn't necessarily say pick this up over Wingspan unless you just really like the dragon theme, or you.
I think this improves on Wingspan in a lot of ways, and I personally love the dragon theme more. I like the action stuff, and for me, like, this theme sings to me way more than Birds does. But I know that Birds can be more accessible for people that aren't as into fantasy.
As far as game weight and complexity, I think this is up there a little bit higher.
Yeah,
but I love it. But I still like what's going on with this. Like, I can feel like I can teach Wingspan and play Wingspan with just about almost anybody. This one, I had a lot of. I played it game night last night with some new people they're not super big gamers, and we had it was tricky to teach them some of this and get everything going with this game. There's just a lot of little things to think about and do.
How do you feel about, like, the art and the dragon lore book and stuff? They tried to copy. They tried to copy Wingspan with their bird lore book, and they had a dragon lore book with all these different like dragon facts, which is pretty cute.
Yeah, it's this really nice little book. It has all the dragons in it, except my one complaint about it is it has no details on the powers of the dragons at all. And all it talks about is, like, this dragon.
Oh, if you need clarification, you mean?
Yeah, like some of the abilities on the dragons, some people are like, I just want to see how this works or what this means exactly. Usually it's pretty self-explanatory, but sometimes
Were there some that you found tricky? I thought most of them were very straightforward.
Some people were like, there's certain ones for scoring where it's like, we couldn't determine if you could spend more than a certain amount of resource. Like, you could do the action more than one time, or like certain things and the way they worked and interacted.
Gotcha.
But I just surprised they didn't have any information about that at all in there, and it was just dragon facts that were like cute little facts, like, oh, this dragon lives in this environment and likes to eat this, and it's crazy how many unique pieces of art are in this game. The art is incredible.
Yeah.
It's got this really nice, almost like a watercolor aesthetic to it.
For me, I find it hilarious that, like, you're sending your little explorer guy down to, like, go through, and as he's going through, all these eggs are popping out of these dragons, and the dragons are throwing you resources constantly. I'm like, I don't get it. Like,
you don't get eaten.
And you don't get eaten. These are very friendly dragons overall, even though some of them on their card literally says aggressive. They're very friendly dragons. Mm-hmm. Also, isn't this game a little bit more friendly overall than Wingspan is? Because can't in Wingspan birds eat other birds? Like, I don't see that happening in this game.
There are dragons that you can flip over cards and tuck them like they're eating them.
Gotcha.
And there are aggressive dragons.
They're not messing up other players' boards, right?
No, not really. No, there's nothing like that.
No.
Also, the
Not
ties.
yet.
In Wingspan, you could choose a competitive end of round scoring goals or the friendly ones. This one is always competitive, except all the ties are shared, so you're not
Gotcha.
It is kind of nice, so it makes it easier to have to figure out who's in second place and who gets third place and how many points you get for that.
Just make sure if you're going for eggs, you don't get confused whether it's how many eggs can a dragon hold versus how many eggs you actually have on your dragon.
Yeah, right.
It could lose you the game.
Yeah,
that's what happened.
And it's got the same end of round goals, kind of like Wingspan, where you just flip up 4 different ones, and but it's really good. It's really well done. I enjoyed it a lot. I'm looking forward to playing it some more.
I liked it.
Yeah, Kent said I haven't AP'd that much in a long time when we played it, but I did beat him by 1.
So she beat you, yeah.
So it was totally worth it.
Absolutely.
So he was trying to haze you so you wouldn't get that 1 point. That's what that was.
Also, when I played it yesterday with these other people, it was massive AP. I feel like for some people.
Wow, we didn't have that in our group, but
Yeah,
also we might not have cared. We were live.
If you're playing with maybe non-gamers or gamers who aren't that familiar with this kind of game, there's a lot of stuff to read. There's a lot of choices to make. It can definitely cause it, especially people who are really trying to do well and score well. I saw a lot of AP. I mean, you can plan pretty well. There's not a lot that people can do to mess you up before your turn comes around, unless they're going to take a dragon card you're really trying to get or a cave card you're really trying to go for. So you can do a lot of planning in between turns, but
in my defense, Kent was cheating on the last round, and so I had to
as he does
had to rearrange my whole strategy because he ended up having like 12 action tokens.
Okay, it was an accident in the rules.
It was an accident,
and we fixed it, and no cheating.
No,
actually
I know,
occurred.
but that's why I had to AP, because like all of a sudden he had like 12 action tokens, and I was like, I only had 3 left, and I was like, how do you have so many action tokens? There's no way I can beat you if you have all these many actions left. And then he ended up having like he took too many.
It was a misread of the rule book, and
no,
it never happened. And
yeah.
it didn't.
Anyways,
it didn't affect
It's
anything.
a figment of your imagination. It never happened.
Didn't affect anything in any meaningful way. Nothing changed.
But anyways, that was my reasoning for APing so much. But yeah,
she had to win.
It was totally worth it. I had to win.
You had to stomp the cheater. That's what you gotta do.
I was like, I love this game. I have to win it. So,
but it's really fun. I recommend trying it, especially if you like Wingspan.
Especially if you like dragons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the theme is whatever. I mean, it can be any theme, but it's
get out of here. The one theme it can't be is birds. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Let's get. We need to talk about Courtney's game because I'm really interested in this game. Courtney,
let's do it.
You gotta tell me about this.
This is an older game, so it's called Via Nebula. It's by Martin Wallace.
Why am I not familiar with this? Because it looks like something I would play.
It's from. I looked up the date because I was just curious. It's from 2016. So this is one of the games we got when we first started playing board games. And we're trying to go through our collection and trying to. Okay, we haven't played this game in a long time. Do we want to keep it? Do we want to sell it or get rid of it? And so this was one of the ones we hadn't played in a while. So we're like, let's play this because we both remember liking it a lot, but our tastes have changed a lot over the years, and or not a lot. Kent's probably haven't changed. Mine have changed. And so we're like, does this game still hold up? Because I know some games when you first started playing them in the hobby, it's like, okay, I probably wouldn't play that game. Like we've never played Betrayal, but I've just heard people say like, oh, I probably wouldn't play that game anymore. Like there's much better of those types of games. So, basically with this game, your board starts out and he's got a picture of it there, but you have this hex grid board, and what's on there at the beginning are just kind of building sites and resource sites, and then scattered in between those it's just like this mist. And so on your turn, you can either open up a new production site, which you basically take one of the tokens and you put whatever that resource is, so like brick or wood or whatever, you put the brick out and you put your meeple out and you get the brick. That's one action. You can claim a building site, which you can only claim like 3 building sites at one time, or you can build paths between the resources and your buildings, because you have to obviously thematically you have to bring the resources to your building site to build buildings. That's kind of the last thing you do. And then the game ends when somebody has built their 5th building. And there's a couple different types. They're all worth different points, and you're just trying to score points. So it's not necessarily it's kind of a race, because you do want to be, if you build more buildings, then you're probably going to get more points. But There's other ways to get points besides the building, so it's not like a definite thing you're going to win if you build your 5th building first, because you get points for different types of buildings, and then taking up those resource tokens that are out there on the board, and you also get points for laying the track or covering the mist. The kind of neat thing about this game is that you all share the resources and you share the tracks. So if Kent goes and gets and opens up the wood or puts the wood out on the board, if I have a track that can get to that wood area, then I can use the wood from his area. It's not like his wood. So it can be kind of, you could see it kind of going like a hate drafting, and it's not drafting, but like you could take other people's resources when they need them. But the game has a way to kind of combat that, whereas if you take extra resources and you take more than you need when you build a building, then you get negative points. Or if you try to take up all the resource spots that you don't need, and those resources are left there at the end of the game, those are also negative points. So you don't really want to take more than you need, because it ends up being negative points for you. So I think it's a pretty simple game. I mean, Kent retaught it to me, and we played it in under an hour. And it's basically just kind of moving your resources, building the buildings, kind of game. It's kind of fun to share. I guess the push and pull there is like you want to build the tracks, but you don't necessarily want to build tracks that are going to help him. But sometimes you end up helping each other kind of complete buildings or get each other resources, which is good. But you don't want to help each other out either. But the game's the board's kind of small, and there are limited resources, so you kind of end up having to help each other out sometimes. But we still enjoyed it. I think we probably will keep it in our collection just because it was so simple to play. It was so fast, and so it's still kind of a fun game. So.
People say it's like a train game for if you don't want a train game.
Oh, interesting.
Because it's a Martin Wallace game, but it's like it's a little bit of a train game, maybe. I don't know.
You still have to connect stuff, basically.
Yeah, you're just connecting land, but it's not really tracks per se. But it feels like that.
Like pulling the tiles off. It just had so many good hexagonal tiles in Martin Wallace, and I never heard of it. And I saw it in the notes. I was like, so in 2016, I had the existence of this game. Anytime I get to play with tiles, I'm just super interested.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really tile. I mean, you are laying tiles, but it's not like typical tile laying. So, I mean, you're more doing it like he said, like kind of like laying tracks for trains, because you're just trying to connect the resources to your building site so you can build the buildings. And then you transport. Once you have it connected, then you can transport. But it's kind of tricky because you can't transport the resources through other building sites. So you have to kind of, something goes around, and then there's areas what they called petrified forests or whatever, which take more actions to build over, and those are kind of scattered throughout the board. But it's still a fun game. It's probably up there as one of my favorite Martin Wallace games, I guess.
Nice.
Yeah, if you have an opportunity to play it, it's worth trying. It's pretty easy and kind of different.
And the art's kind of neat. It's kind of reminds me of like little dwarfs like art.
Nice. Well, I guess we should get into our actual topic, which we talked about at the beginning of this, which is cooperative games.
What was that? Oh, cooperative games.
It's been so long. But yeah, I guess we should go ahead and slam down Adam's cooperative game.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so cooperative games, which we got to talk about. This is the game that I play with my wife all the time because it's romantic.
It looks romantic.
It's not true. My wife doesn't like zombies. I'm trading her in for a horror chick. Don't worry. Joking, babe.
Wow.
She'll never listen to this. It's fine. She finds what I'm doing up here abhorrent. So, kind of just reiterating the theme, the idea of these cooperative games that are kind of easy to get people interested. One of the games that I use a lot, and it might seem like a lot of game on the table, is Zombicide Black Plague. I've got like a fair amount of it, most of it. and it's one of the few games that I've gotten off my butt and painted most of it. Not very well.
That's
but
awesome. That's
painted
cool though.
Almost every single piece that I have. And it's cool. Zombicide is really popular for a reason, and it's because it's not hard, but it has a really cool table presence. Like I've had games where you put 9 tiles out, you know, you got popcorn over here, you got pretzels over here, you got the dice out, you got the 6 characters out on the board. I've just reached a point where I'm barely playing the actual scenarios anymore. I'm like, let's just set this up and see what happens. Like all the different, like in the community, the BGG community for this, in terms of like rules variances that people have, are also really excellent. I tend to do the one where you do a bigger board. You get you have different zombie decks for inside and different decks for outside. So you put all the green horde characters outside, and then you put all the other zombies on the inside, right? So depending on where your characters are at when they draw, you actually draw from a different deck. So you kind of get a little theme from what ends up coming out, right? So you're not going to get overrun by the horde unless you're outside doing some shenanigans, and then at the end of your turn you have to draw out there. So, which is a real simple variant to the game if you haven't played it, because largely it is just drawing zombies to see how horrifically overrun you're going to get by what type of zombie, and drawing item cards to see what kind of power you're going to get, what kind of items you're going to get, and a little bit of RPG leveling as you kill some stuff. And it's just chucking dice, knocking down doors, pushing your luck a little bit. It's just such an easy, good time. And it looks like a lot. So I think the thing that I love about Zombicide, particularly Black Plague for me, but I think you could apply this to most versions, is you can take a brand new game. There's only a couple of things are added in today. Look at this table I have set. Look how wild this looks. You're going to be able to do this in about 15 minutes. We're going to be going, because there's only a few rules you need to know to get started. And since we're playing cooperatively, we got to go, oh, no, you got to do this instead of that. Or this is how the horde works. When you draw the horde cards, we put all the orc guys out on this little area, and we're going to wait for that horde card to come up. And then 15 of them are going to come storming the board, and we're going to run screaming. And there's a huge dragon, a couple huge dragons. There's Thundercats. You want to play as the Thundercats? Yeah, you can play as the Thundercats and fight zombies. It's a cool game. I think you don't have to have like $600 or $700 of it too. You can buy any one Zombicide box and have that kind of a night. There you go.
Love it. Yeah. Well, Matt's game.
Yeah, I actually changed what I thought I was going to go with, because you had mentioned Betrayal earlier, and I really have a hankering to get back and play that game. That's the game that kind of got me into the hobby.
So what you're trying to say is you're trying to hit the gym.
Yeah. I gotta look, man. I gotta stay below the staircase.
Such an inside joke.
That way I can punch the ghost. It doesn't work, but maybe this time. I don't know. I mean, as Courtney alluded to earlier, this game is pretty janky. It's got a lot of weird stuff. Sometimes the haunt comes out and it's like, hey, it's just physically impossible for you to win. But something about it. It's like a bad B movie, horror movie where you're just like, man, this is gonna be a
creates
delight.
Experiences.
It's not gonna be good, but it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. And this game to me is absolutely just so much fun, because it starts out and you're just like, okay, it's a little tense, it's a little neat, and then by the end of it, most of the time everybody's laughing, having a good time, and it's a solid game. And even though one person does betray everybody and try to kill them, sometimes, in most cases, but it's still pretty cooperative.
Yeah, I think the D&D version of this has a whole bunch of cooperative scenarios in it as well, where you're just fighting against an AI. So, but yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, Betrayal's great. I don't know.
Well, I agree.
Rob, your game I was talking about at work today that I wish I would see more people post and talk about it, because this game is amazing and a marvel in engineering, actually. What is your game?
It really is amazing. My co-op game that I picked for this one is Return to Dark Tower. And the reason why I picked this game is because my wife and my daughters absolutely love this game, which I thought was not going to happen, because because of the engineering of the game, the tower makes some weird, funky noises. So does the app, and the music is pretty scary. And like my daughter at one point was like, "What is that music?" And so I thought, "Crap, Kent's here. He's teaching this game. My daughter's gonna have nightmares. Screw you, Kent. Get out of my house." No. Like since then, they've been like, "Hey, when are we gonna play this game again?" And I'm like, "Well, when's Kent coming back over?" But and even earlier today, we were talking about it, and she was like, "Man, Dad, I really want to play that. Do we have that?" I was like, "Yeah, baby. What we have is our copy." Oh, what we played was our copy. She was like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah." So my family really enjoyed it. My wife actually really liked it. She's talked about it multiple times since our play. Return to Dark Tower is a co-op game where you get to choose certain cards, and then as you choose certain cards, you put that information into the app. So you get to choose certain bad guys, certain big bad boss. You put that into the app. You make a couple of other choices, and then the app creates a scenario and/or campaign that you're playing against. So it is co-op. It's a lot of fun. I also love the engineering behind it because it makes it user-friendly. It can seem like a lot because there are a lot of pieces on the board and there's a lot of stuff happening, but the app is very user-friendly and it helps move everything along really well. Kent also did a very good job explaining the game, but the app helps a lot. So this was one of those games where it made my list since we're in the month of love, right? I wanted to talk about a co-op that my loved ones really liked. And really enjoyed all together and have asked to play some more. So my pick for this week is Return to Dark Tower. Very romantic.
I do want to do a shout out from a comment on Facebook. Scott Alden, the owner of Board Game Geek, asked if Betrayal at House on Hill is still broken. He played it 20 years ago and hasn't gone back to it. Yeah, it's definitely broken.
That's part of it.
That's the charm. That's the charm, man.
But it's not broken when you can predict what's going to happen.
I mean, you have to be along for the ride, and sometimes that ride just wrecks you. But it creates those memories sometimes. Sometimes a plant thing pops up, and everybody falls asleep, and you just all immediately die.
Yep.
You just got betrayed.
That's the thing. We've got so many stories from that game. I don't know that it's like, ooh, crazy. This was,
it's like no one's claiming the game is good, right?
It's not a good game.
We've got so many memories from it.
Yeah,
bro, that connection with Hector, I don't know what it is. We did it once. We did it once when we were playing Deception Murder in Hong Kong, where I knew it was him with the spiders and the sandals. And in that game, before the game even started, I said, "Hector, you're going to end up being the betrayer, and you're going to have to kill me to win the game." And that's exactly what happened. He had to kill me because I was a little kid character. It was so amazing. And then Roy was getting mad at Matt because Matt was just in the basement, just like
I was like, as a team, we need to work together. Matt, why are you working out? Matt's like, I get stats if I stay here.
It's the only thing I can do. Gain strength. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Hector's chasing Rob to the house.
I'm like, he's a ghost. He doesn't attack your strength anyway. He attacks your mint. Never mind. Just do whatever.
Honestly,
I did not say whatever. I did not say never mind. I'm pretty sure I was pretty salty.
No, you were getting a little angry. I think they did come out with a new version of Betrayal that's Scooby-Doo themed because I feel like that jank would be.
They did that already, didn't they?
Oh, did they? Man,
they did. Okay. It's very. It's a kid's version of the game, and I feel like it's not quite as epic, but I've had fun playing it with my kids.
Dang.
Wow. How'd you call that one, Matt?
Yeah.
Man, look, I'm probably the person here with the least board game knowledge. So
that's not.
I had no idea.
You have so many board games behind you, though.
Hey, but I haven't played but like 4 of them. So it's mostly. This is just
it's
where
a
I put my money.
sickness.
Right. Look, see, some people buy crypto, right? I buy cardboard.
There you go.
Better investment.
Maybe. I don't know. Well, I guess we can talk about my game, which is my favorite game of all time. I mean, maybe. I guess I haven't redone my list this year. But Marvel Champions. I love Marvel Champions. And it's just cool because you basically get to play with all these different superheroes from Marvel that I love. They have tons of Avengers now with all the expansions. They have tons of X-Men. They have tons of different characters in this game. But I play this game super casually. I play everything on standard. I don't really change up the starting decks that they come with. I just have all the decks built at the same time, and I say, hey, we're going to play against this villain. Which character do you want to play with? Oh, you're going to play this character? I'm going to play this character. And we just go off and see how we can do it. They have so many different scenarios. They now have campaign boxes, which are fun to work through. Yeah, when I had my friends down for Roycon or whatever, we played through like an entire campaign of the game and just had the same characters and upgrade them as we went along. It was just a lot of fun. I just have played solo so many times. I played with Ruthie all the time. I play with Joey at work now a bunch whenever any of the new stuff comes in. I just love Marvel Champions, and it's just so much fun to be able to cooperatively work to thwart the schemes of the enemy and knock down the bad guy. I just love the card play in this, and yeah, that's Marvel Champions.
Is your favorite character still Doctor Strange? Have you moved to somebody else?
I know. I mean, Doctor Strange. Oh my goodness, that was like so long ago. No.
I just remember that at one point you said that. And he's cool
I think currently my favorite character is Wolverine, just because he does so much damage so fast, and he can use his health points to do even more damage. He basically hurts himself to be able to play attack cards, but then he also has healing factor, so he can heal back up. So I don't know that he's the most like interesting character to play, but I just love that he does so much damage, and he's freaking Wolverine. You know, come on, Wolverine.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Rob, you haven't played yours yet?
I still haven't played it.
I'm coming over, Rob. I'm coming over. I'm going to make you play this game.
You know how many games I've bought that I have? It's only gotten worse.
Preaching to the choir.
You can play that game solo, and it's great solo.
Rob doesn't play game solo.
I play
that game
Fuzzies because
you could definitely play that one solo. Different than
yeah, I'm not a big solo guy.
Listen, you could have a cup of coffee before the kids get up. Rob.
Right? I would say that one's worth
Nice
soloing.
and early. No, now I get up and I go to the gym and I hate it. It's so dumb. I just want to
Wait, like Matt? Oh, like, is this a betrayal or like the real one?
Yeah.
No, I go
Not
yeah.
IRL. In Detroit.
Yeah, no, yeah.
He goes to a haunted house every morning. Just
That's what the gym feels like. It feels haunted. It's so dumb. I hate it. I just want to
can
be
you
fat and
even
sassy.
find dumbbells for those sausage fingers of yours? Because
Bro.
Rob's not joking, you
You're
guys. He
doing
has
it for the
very
girls.
large hands. If you've never met Rob Newman in person, not to derail it, they're really big hands. He gives a great massage, but they are huge. They are. He does have mitts. It's true. It's not an exaggeration.
I'm not a small person.
Scott said that he's going to try Betrayal at House on the Hill again. So if all of Board Game Geek gets deleted, it's probably our fault.
Well, Scott, here's the other thing, though. You got to make sure you're playing with the right people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, when you're playing these games,
Don't play with the Eurogamers. Come on, they're not going to like it.
You got to play. You got to play with somebody who's
Some
like
D&D
Roy,
group
who's going to
people,
keep
you
you
know?
on mission and who's going to go for it. And you got to play with a couple of like Matts and Robs, where we're just going to have fun and be crazy.
Yep.
And then you got to play with somebody who's like Hector, who doesn't know what he's doing, but then the whole game is on his shoulders. So you got to find the right crew to play with.
Or you get Kent to play and you give him a rule book for the next game that you don't feel like learning while we're playing it, and he just rolls the dice and doesn't even look at the board. That
Right.
is
And he still wins.
that's the
Man, look, just get some popcorn, put on Toxic Avenger, and have a good time. You know, like
It's so crazy. Well, I guess we should go to Kent's game.
All right, so I've talked about this before. This is Cthulhu Death May Die. I had such a hard time picking one cooperative game. I ended up picking this one just because I had picked it before for other lists, but it's one I really want to play. I want to get back to the table. Like, I loved playing this game. I love the combos of picking a scenario or picking your the bad guy you're fighting against, picking the scenario, and then just going in and just having a crazy time. It always goes terrible. Like, by the end of the game, everyone's just on fire and things are dying. Everyone's dying, but like one person's usually suicide running towards the monsters while one person's trying to finish off the boss, if they can even do that. It's just such a cool game. It's just a cool system, and I just really want to get back to the table. So that's why I picked Death May Die, but it's just the minis are amazing. The mechanisms of having to take, I guess, sanity damage to make your character stronger is so cool. Because you're just trying not to push it too far and die, but like you just become so powerful as you progress.
way I play Rasputin.
So it gives you that really good sense.
Yeah, Rasputin is
It's like
awesome.
Zombicide. You know, Zombicide, you level up and get stronger as it goes. But this, I feel like the powers this unlocks, you're more unique because you've got each character's got like pretty special different abilities, which you can kind of pick exactly what you want to go for at the beginning of the game. So it's kind of a cool thing to work towards and play.
In this one, in Zombicide, you have to like level up and kill a bunch of things to level up. But in this one, the more you start dying, the more you level up.
Yeah,
So the more you go insane, the more you level up, and it
you can
ramps
be
up
like,
faster.
oh,
I think.
I'm gonna re-roll this die, but I'm gonna have to take sanity damage. And I'm like, why? I could go a little more insane here, you know.
Yeah.
So it's cool. I really wanted to put Dark Tower. I wanted to put like a few other
Dark
games.
Tower's
I'm
so
glad
good.
Dark Tower went over so well when we played with Rob. It's such an amazing game. But yeah, this is probably one I definitely need to get back and get played, and I'm like so excited to try out. And I think there's still more stuff coming in for it. There's another campaign that haven't heard anything about that, but there's more content on the way for Death May Die.
It does have the coolest, I think, power-up mechanics out of any of these kind of like dungeon crawlers at that weight. I would agree.
Mm-hmm.
That it was the other one I was thinking about putting too. I was like, oh man, I love it so much, and I was really late to it. Kent, you talked me into buying it. I was like, I have $100 gift card. Which game would you buy? And you were like, I think you'd like Cthulhu Death May Die. And man, I love it. It's really good.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? I need to try this again because I played it like once or maybe twice. I painted a gigantic Cthulhu for it, but I haven't played it that much. So, and people love this game. There's a lot of people in the studio that love this game. So, like, I need to play it more.
It's crazy and can go really badly for you, but it's super fun.
Nice.
Yeah, you have fun losing in this one.
All right, Courtney's game.
I love co-op games. I think they're my favorite type of game. So it was so hard to come up with one. And then I probably would have picked Return to Dark Tower as well. But then I saw Rob put it up there. So I was like, I have to pick up some of that. And then, my favorite game is Marvel Legendary. But I was like, I always talk about that one. So I picked Too Many Bones, which again is another one that I want to get back to the table. I love campaign co-op games, which is like the worst thing in the world for Kent. So I don't get to play that many of them. But Too Many Bones just has I just love the leveling up mechanic with this one where you the stronger you get, the more dice you get and the different powers you get from those dice. And you get, you go and you fight monsters with tons of dice, and then you get loot and use that to fight more monsters later. And you just get more and more powerful as the campaign goes on. And so this one's just a lot of fun, and they have so many different characters to try and stuff like that. So, and the production is just awesome. All the neoprene mats and all the different custom dice and stuff like that. It's really cool. But I just like games where I get to roll a lot of dice and kill stuff. I mean, that's like the best thing ever, I think.
I love
Courtney
it.
needs to play Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
Someday. Oh wow,
Someday.
yeah, that would be cool.
Someday.
But yeah, cooperative games are such like one of the main reasons I love this hobby in general. I mean, like I said at the beginning of the show, like cooperative games are what really drove me into being super excited about board games. And it's just cool to be able to come together as a team of a bunch of different people and put aside our differences and work together to try to beat the game, and cooperative games and board games give us that opportunity to do that.
Yep.
Indeed.
And there's just more and more coming out every year. So
I know.
There's plenty to choose from if these aren't.
Gosh, there's so many good ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to pick.
I almost put just one. I don't know if you guys.
It's so good. I love just one.
Yeah.
We probably played that more these last 2 months, with the holidays and then even back home. Everybody loved. That's probably my favorite co-op party game. Just because
it's my favorite party game by far.
Together, it's perfect. And we played that so much, and everybody we introduced that to on my side of the family and on my wife's side of the family, everybody loved it.
I've never had a group that hasn't worked with.
Did you play Robert Newman Rules?
After we play, people buy the copy because they're like, "Wow, that was so simple," and it's $20 on Amazon.
He's definitely playing Rob Newman Rules.
You played Robin Newman Rules where you're like, wink, wink. Are you gonna write that one?
Are you doing the J? Are you doing the J word?
Are you doing
do the word with the
obvious
J?
one?
Don't do the J. I'm doing the J word, not you.
You're like, "Hey, I'm writing this. Don't write this."
Don't
Now,
worry,
I did that with my daughter a couple of times. There were some times where Marlo made me play honest and oh man, let's put it down. But there were other times where I did look over at the person, whoever's sitting to my left or my right, and I was like, don't write this down because it's what I'm writing down. And they're like, I was gonna write that, or that's such a good idea.
I have a Rob in my group. His name is Carlos. He does the same thing. And I'm like, Carlos, Like I'm doing the easy one. You're not supposed to say that you're doing the easy one.
Everybody says that. Yeah, I'm doing the easy one. Don't do the easy one.
So then just say it in Spanish.
They all know Spanish, and that's the thing. Is like I don't know Spanish. I guess I could just
Facile. If they
behind
say
my back.
facile, that means the easy one.
There you go.
Yeah, I feel like Just One. Whenever you play it with somebody, they buy it. I should be getting commission on that game.
Yeah.
So I play it with non-gamers, and they're like, "Oh, we can have this. It takes 5 minutes to learn, less than 5 minutes to learn, 3 minutes to learn."
Yeah, it's such a great way to get people into gaming because you get like a cute little one like that, and you get a couple of these nice little co-op games, and then people are like, "Wow, board gaming is a lot more than just Catan and Monopoly." And so, board gaming is the way to get your friends addicted.
I was we were about to go to like the funeral for my grandpa passing away, and I was there with all of my cousins and aunts and uncles, and like we're just sitting at my uncle's house, and like, you know, it's pretty somber and stuff like that, but you know, we're just, after all the small talk was done, I was like, well, you know what, maybe we should play Just One. And we played Just One, and it helped get our minds off of stuff, and like everybody had a lot of fun with it. You know, it's kind of crazy, like even in those sort of situations, like gaming can lighten the mood and help everybody still come together and build those relationships around tabletop games, even in like crazy situations, you know. So
yeah,
it really does. At my grandma's, same thing. We didn't play Just One or anything, but we always played card games, and at her wake we had a big card game tournament. We just played card games in honor of her, and it's nice how it can kind of mellow the mood, and especially something like that, you bring everybody together and just laugh, and it's a good thing.
Yeah, cooperative games and games in general are amazing.
For a therapist, and you had people play games depending on their feelings.
Well, first I'd have to go to like some other some sort of education for doing therapy. I don't think they just let anybody do therapy, right?
Bro, there's plenty of people on social media who can tell you exactly what to do with your life.
Just ask them; they'll tell you.
Right?
They'll tell you.
I'm doing that as soon as I get up here. I'm posting a TikTok. What should I do tomorrow?
What should you do tomorrow?
No, I don't. No one would reply to it.
I know you should do tomorrow night.
You should set up Marvel Champions, play it while you're having your coffee tomorrow morning.
There you go.
I really do need to get that to the table. I feel like it would be an easier game to get to play than like
once you know the rules, it is so there's no like changing out decks the same way. There's no doing all that crazy stuff that you have to do in Arkham Horror. Like it is so easy to throw on the table and just play. Throw on the table and just play. You know, and that's one of the reasons why it's so high for me.
I should get it for that because I like Arkham Horror. I like the card play of games like that. But it is like, even if you're gonna sit and play it by yourself, it's kind of fastidious. You have to like.
My thing with Arkham Horror is like, for one, it's a campaign, and two, it's just so tedious because you have to like pull the correct cards out of the deck and put them in there, and then make sure you're setting everything up, because then the scenario won't be right if you don't. And trust me, Arkham Horror, the card game, is amazing, and it's worth every bit of that.
Yeah, it's very good.
But it's just not as accessible as Marvel Champions is. Like,
I hate that bag. That bag is like the bane of my existence. That Doom token. Oh my gosh.
We did a stream because Chris and Camilla and Z had been playing a campaign of Arkham Horror, and I petitioned the internet to get as many of those Doom tokens as I could. And Tom talked them in and told them like, "Hey guys, you guys should do a live stream of your campaign." And this was me and Tom setting this up. And when they did, Z set up like the scenario and everything, and had like sitting on his desk just the box for the game. And I went in and snuck out. I took out all the regular tokens and just put in just the bad Doom token.
Yeah.
So there's a video online of the Dice Tower playing Arkham Horror.
He realized as they pulled out,
he was
like
going out. He's
like,
I can show you guys. There's not that many bad things in there. This
like,
is impossible that this could happen. And he dumps it out, and they're just like, "What the crap?" It was so good. It was so good.
Oh man.
Yeah, I hate that bag.
The bag's mean without adding extra Doom tokens. That
game's very punishing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's worse than Cthulhu Death May Die. Is like the arcade version of that. Like,
yes.
Sometimes you're just.
Before we close, should I do like a shill shout out to my campaign? I don't know.
I'll say here. I'll do it for you. The game is so good. I had to play it until 2:30 in the morning.
What game?
This is Last Light. Last Light, a game designed by Roy Kennedy, a former Target employee from North Carolina or whatever. Rob's super charming TikTok is about it. Listen, I took this game. Speaking of other games that I think I sold it to 3 people this week.
That's crazy.
I was out at my friend's house playing, and we played it, and the board was set up, and they're like, we should just play this again. I literally was out till 2:30 playing this game on Saturday. We had such a good time. I didn't win one game on Saturday. I was playing with a bunch of people who are good at games. It was horrifying. I couldn't do anything lazy. I couldn't rush to the middle.
Oh wow.
Rush to the middle is like the strat where people are like, it won't work that well. Yes, it will. It'll work really, really well.
The planets are better in the middle. Go there.
It's such a fun game. It's incredible. I still haven't got a big 8-person play in of it yet. But again, even teaching new people, giving a full teach to people who haven't played it, it's a little better than an hour. And then when you play it the second time, it's right around the hour mark for 4 people, which is just incredible considering how much stuff you can do. It's so much fun. You should buy it. You should spend all the money. It's worth it. Get all the dice. All right, get all the clear dice, the purple dice. Purple dice are my favorite ones. The purple nebula. You roll more hits. You get the hit and the tech activation.
It should not roll more hits, to be fair. They need to be balanced.
You do. No, they're not balanced at all. The purple ones are magic.
I did do a how to play that released on the Dice Tower last Saturday. I'd been holding out for a specific Canadian to do a how to play for me, but I wasn't able to procure that because Mr. Smith is quite busy. But so I was like, so many people had asked me, I was like, I'll do it myself, So I went into work on Saturday by myself and recorded a how to play video. I was like, hey, Tom, can I just use a studio and make a how to play for Last Light? He's like, sure, whatever. And so I did it, spent hours doing it and making it happen. And then afterwards, like, hey, where should I put this? Should I put it on my own channel? Should I put it on the Dice Tower? Gray Fox can post it on their channel. He's like, oh, you can just throw it up on the Dice Tower. So I'm like super grateful for Tom for letting me put this how to play video up on the Dice Tower because it's going to get so many more eyes. It already has over 1,000 views on it, and it's going to be there as a thing for however long people want to be able to learn how to play the game. So hopefully that helps people get the game to the table even easier. And you can pretend like I'm at your table teaching you, except I would normally teach it way faster than that video because I went way too in depth. But people wanted me to go way too in depth because people have edge cases. They want to know those things.
Listen, and Roy will answer your questions in the middle of the night, like he did for me this weekend about card combos. I'll send his his phone number to you. Just text.
People hit me up on Facebook Messenger all the time, and I answer that stuff all the time.
I'll give his personal phone number out for $15 a pop, so you can Venmo me.
Also, thank you to 2,641 backers currently. You guys are amazing. And also, if you've already got the game, make sure to get on those 5 new aliens because, one allows you to have.
Yeah, you're getting more of my money. Yeah. We
already did.
It's only $10. It's $10. It's not that bad.
I added more than just $10. All right.
You didn't have to add more than $10.
I've already added more than $10, sir. I'm happy for you. I want to see you hit 1 million in total between both games.
I think we're past that point where that's not going to happen. There's not enough days left. But what was I going to say? There's an alien that allows you to have double as many small ships. There's an alien that allows you to get extra resources whenever people play the trade action. There's an alien that the one they announced that they showed, you can just exhaust the alien and put down a ship ability. I'm like, all these things are super fun. There's one that you can literally people always complain about. I don't get to attack back in Last Light. Some people don't like that the combat's so asymmetrical. I made it so people will actually fight each other in the game. But yeah, I love that part of it. But there is an alien that you can exhaust during your turn and actually just do an attack with one of your ships. So there you go. You can attack back a little bit. So yeah, those guys are fun. There's so many different aliens in the game, and
that's the pro tip. If you're playing for the first time, you got to punch people off of the resources they're getting, or they will just beat you.
Just blockade. Honestly, you don't even have to fight them. You could be like, "Hey, listen, I'm just gonna park here for a second. I'm not gonna fight you. Don't fight me back. I'm just gonna park here and blockade them. Blockade them like crazy."
Yeah, it can turn into a political game if people decide not to roll dice, which is something I experienced literally for the first time in my first play on Saturday. Was everyone was like, wait, so you don't have to fight? We're in the same space? But then it just becomes a weird race for tech cards, which gets really wild because people start scoring 2 points a turn on. Oh man, I don't know. It's fun. It's so much fun.
Yeah, and I mean, if you know, if you're going into a space with another player who's also very low on light, I mean, maybe you guys don't fight each other. Like, save the combat, save your ships for the person who's winning. Rob's got 18, and we're talking about Fantasy Sinners. Rob's got 18, and we got to stop him. I'm just kidding.
That was good.
Dustin has 18.
Dustin has 18.
Dustin has 20. We can't stop him. There's no stopping him. Don't worry about it.
No,
Dustin
Ken just went straight to my jugular, and I was like, "Dustin's right there." Yeah, I know, but I just want
that's the thing too, is like you don't realize how fast it ramps. Once people hit that 12, 13 mark, they're probably winning in the next 2 or 3 refreshes if you don't do something drastic. Like if someone gets like solidly into the double digits, it's just, I don't know. It's fun, man. It's so fun ganging up on people. The group I played with, we're planning the Cosmic Encounter / Last Light Battling Aliens night now. We're gonna do both games.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You need to be posting some pictures when you play, so that way I can like repost them and like it and crap like that. That'd be cool.
I am actually gonna set your game up and use it as a lighting lesson for my students coming up here. So get ready for some photos. We're doing product. I'm gonna do some product photography at school. So
that'd be cool.
I know I said I was gonna do it back when we were waiting for him to deliver, and I've been waiting for an excuse to bring it into the studio, so we're gonna do it.
Nice. But yeah, I'm stoked. Well, we'll see how things go. But yeah, I do want to say thank you for everybody who's joining us across Twitch and Facebook and YouTube. Make sure to follow some places. I mean, I think this worked out well. It was cool to see people commenting in different places as well. And having different amounts of viewers everywhere. It's kind of strange. But yeah. Thanks, everybody, for checking it out. And make sure to like and subscribe all of our things. And, and Kent's here away from Lurkana. Thank you, Kent.
Yeah.
this was fun.
Awesome, guys. Well, thanks, everybody, for joining us. And I guess this will wrap up the Epic Gaming Night podcast. We'll see everybody on the next one.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.